Of two.
ABC News headquarters in New York, and we're going to go right away to Blacksburg, Virginia, where officials of Virginia Tech University are about to tell us what happened or give us some more details of what happened in the terrible shooting that occurred there this morning. What may turn out, and indeed seems destined to turn out, to be the worst mass murder in the history of this country. We're going to hear from the president of the university, Charles Steger, and the head of the Virginia Tech Police Department, Wendell Flinchum. The death toll now, ABC's Pierre Thomas confirming that 32 people, including the gunman, killed. Let's go to the news conference, and I believe this is the Virginia Tech Vice President for University Relations, Larry Hinker.
His opening comments. We will stay here as long as you need. We will stay here as long as you need for us to stay here. And then afterwards, I will be available for comment. Obviously, there's an awful lot of you and there's one of me, so I would recommend that we try to get as much as we can accomplished in this press briefing today. President Charles Steger, President of Virginia Tech.
Thank you, Larry. Let me note to you all that just a few minutes ago I spoke with President Bush, and he conveyed his concern and condolences from everyone in Washington and offered all the help that they could possibly provide. I've also spoken on 2 occasions today with Governor Kaine, who is coming back from Tokyo to be at the convocation tomorrow, and he has declared a state of emergency which enables us to access significant other assets that may be required in dealing with this tragedy. With me today is the Secretary of Public Service for the Commonwealth of Virginia, John Marshall, and the Superintendent of the Virginia State Police, Colonel Steve Flaherty. Also present is the Mayor of Blacksburg, Ron Worden, the Chief of the Blacksburg Police Department, Kim Kranis, and the Chief of the Virginia Tech Police, Wendell Flinchum. I want to repeat my horror and disbelief and profound sorrow at the events of today. People from around the world have expressed their shock and their sorrow and endless sadness that has transpired. I'm really at a loss for words to explain or to understand the carnage that has visited our campus. I know no other way to speak about this than to tell you what we know, and let me do that now. It is now confirmed that we have 31 deaths from the Norris Hall, including the gunman. 15 other victims are being treated at local hospitals in the Roanoke and New River Valleys. There are 2 confirmed deaths from the shooting in Ambler Johnson Dormitory, in addition to the 31 at Norris Hall. We have not confirmed the identity of the gunman because he carried no identification on his person, and we are in the process of attempting that identification. Norris Hall is a tragic and a sorrowful crime scene, and we are in the process of identifying victims and in the process of notifying next of kin. This may take some time. We will not release any names until we are positive of this notification. We anticipate being able to release a list sometime tomorrow. We're asking our students to contact their parents and let them know of their status. Our investigation continues into whether there is a connection between the first and second incidents, and that has not been decided. We know that parents will want to embrace their children. We're not suggesting that you come to campus. However, if parents feel that they must come to campus, we are locating counselors at the end of Virginia Tech, which is this building you're in now, to be available. As you can imagine, security, investigation, operational, and counseling resources are very taxed at this moment. However, we're getting assistance from the state police, the FBI, the ATF, local jurisdictions, and the Red Cross. And we understand the desire, indeed the compelling need, to get information on the part of families, students, and loved ones. But unfortunately, this is all the information that we can verify at this point in time. We're posting information on our website as we learn it. Our communication systems are taxed. Also, we're also posting information on the website for the state police, which is vsp.virginia.gov. I think we're ready to take questions.
President Steger?
Yes, ma'am.
Why not shut down campus after the first shooting, whether they're connected or not? Could some of those deaths been prevented if classes had been shut down earlier?
I'll let Chief Lyncham respond to that.
The information we had on the first incident led us to make the decision that it was an isolated event to that building, and the decision was made not to cancel classes at that time.
Why were the students, can you say why the students weren't notified for 2 hours that there had been a shooting on campus?
Well, they were notified that there was a shooting. But you have to remember that of the about 26,000 students that we have here, only 9,000 are on campus. And when classes start at 8 a.m., thousands of people are already in transit. So the question is, where do you keep them where it is most safe? And we concluded first that the incident in the Ambler Johnson was domestic in nature. In fact, we had some reason to think the shooter had left the campus, in fact, may have been leaving the state. And this other event occurred 2 hours later. So,
Well, the first blast email didn't arrive to students till 9:26.
well, that's when we were able to confirm. The call came in to the 911 center at 7:15. I don't know when the police got there. It was about 5 or 10 minutes later.
Very sad.
Then we interviewed witnesses to try to find out what was going on and then decide what the best course of action was to do.
What led you to believe the shooter had in fact left the campus and possibly the state?
We had information from witnesses and the evidence at the scene that led us to believe the shooter was no longer in the building and more than likely off campus.
More than likely, why?
I'm not going to release that at this time.
Can you tell us if you believe that the shooter was in fact a student here?
From the first incident, we do not know at this point.
From either incident?
We do not know at this point. We have one person that's deceased in Norris Hall that was a shooter. We do not know if the two incidents are connected. That's part of the investigation that we're looking into, and we're trying to determine whether they are or are not related.
Are you looking for something?
At this time, we are not looking for someone. We are continuing to investigate, talk to witnesses, and going from there.
What weapons have been recovered?
I'm not prepared to release that at this time.
President Steger, I'm representing Radford University, Forrest Server. Our campus is 15 minutes down the road, and we felt the shock and our condolences for you guys. Right. How can campuses across the nation better prepare for this situation? I understand there wasn't a level of security, in the classroom, even in the building. How 15 minutes down the road, how are we supposed to head off this kind of trouble in the future?
Well, it's very difficult because we are an open society and an open campus, and we have over 26,000 people here and hundreds of buildings. And I think the best thing we can do is we ask people to report anything they saw that was suspicious, but we obviously can't have an armed guard in front of every classroom every day of the year. So
will you have meetings in the future, or I'm sure you'll have meetings
we will
following
do,
this?
after every incident, we do a complete review of how it was handled, how we can make improvements, as we did with the Morva situation in the fall. But it's one of these things that no one anticipated, and you have to remember that you can only make the decision based on the information you know at that moment in time, and you don't have hours to reflect on it. You have to take immediate action.
Do we have any reason to believe that the bomb threats, including the one on Friday, are connected to this at all?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. We're looking into that to see if they are or are not connected. It's certainly a possibility that we're exploring.
Can you give us any details?
The gunman took his own life.
Can you give us any details about what happened first in the dorm and then later in Norris Hall? Because I think rumors are rampant about what actually transpired.
Officers responded to the dormitory West Ambler Johnston. They found two people had been shot. We started our investigation from that point, interviewing witnesses. We were on scene at that time when the second incident happened.
Were they found dead at the scene?
Both people were transported to the hospital from the scene.
Were they shot in a room, a student's room, an RA's room?
They were shot in a dormitory room.
You said it was domestic in nature. Can you elaborate on that?
No, I didn't say it was domestic in nature. Initial information we were getting led us to believe that it could have been, and that's one of the possibilities we were exploring at that time.
Was one of the dead the shooter's girlfriend?
I'm sorry,
Is one of the deceased from that first shooting the shooter's girlfriend?
I do not think so.
Can you tell us how many of the dead are students and how many might be faculty or other staff?
We do not have those numbers yet.
Was there any shootout
between the shootings on campus and another shooting off campus at an apartment? ABC News was reporting an apartment shooting prior to the first shooting at West AJ.
I'm not aware of any shootings off campus.
Was there a shootout involving officers and the gunman? And were you in a situation where you had to decide when to send officers into the building?
There was not a shootout between the officers and the gunman. Officers went in immediately upon arriving at the building.
Did you at any point tell the suspect to get on the ground?
I do not know.
How would you characterize these shootings? Was he running through hallways and into classrooms pulling the trigger, or did, as we've heard, did he execute these students?
We're still preliminary into the investigation, and I'm not prepared to release that at this time.
How many
Were they
weapons did he
random
have?
shootings or were they specific?
I'm sorry, let me go to this gentleman, I'll be right back.
How many weapons did he have?
I'm not prepared to release that at this time either.
Let me-
The lady in the
There were
back.
reports that the
Before,
shooter
let me
had
get
locked
back to
himself
your
in
question
into
about
the
closing
building.
the campus. When the shooting occurred at Ambler Johnson, that building was closed immediately. And we thought we would be able, if someone were leaving or whatever. So that's a point I didn't
So
make.
you thought the situation was under control and
Well, as best